Hey everybody, this is Bryan Bowman here, Disc Golf Examiner, and I got Mach with me. We are here at the Steel City Classic in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, hosted this year by Cody Winget out at Deer Lakes Park outside of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's good to be back, Bryan. My first time back on the mic this year with Disc Golf Examiner. Really happy to be here with you. Big thanks to you and Bryan for hustling around one of the best tracks in the area at Deer Lakes Park. I won't say exactly if it's the best or one of the best because I don't want to fire up those guys on the internet, but
There's debate.
There's a lot of debate per the usual. So, you guys did a lot of work getting these great photos and the great footage, and I'm excited to just be able to sit here on the comfort of our couch and just hang out and watch some great action.
Yeah, this is one of the first tournaments of the year. Obviously, the spring out here, the course was looking great. We had a really nice sunny day with some crazy winds and a lot of mud, and we started out with our lead card here on hole 8 at Deer Lakes.
Right, so it's a par 3, 273 feet. The play for most of these guys is to either, pipe a shot straight up the gap to get to an elevated pin position or to take a big hyzer around if you've really got an arm.
Our first player there is Cody Winget, sponsored by Prodigy Discs. He's also our TD, and he put it right up to the top of the hill, fighting the wind the whole way. Our second thrower here is Adam Woodward. We were saying he was honorary sponsored by Disc Golf Examiner.
Nice. And we have Chris Lachendro here teeing off third. He recently picked up a sponsorship from Disc Store. He throws a bit of Discraft, a bit of Gateway, but he looks, we're going to be seeing a lot of forehands from him. He's a forehand dominant player, so he took the left side hyzer. And last but not least, it looks like we have, if I doesn't mistake my eyes, we have Penguins backup goaltender Casey DeSmith.
Yeah, he is sponsored by Team DD. Came out, he told me he had 3 rounds of practice since the season ended, and this was his first tournament out, and he was really excited to get out there. We see his shot landed up at the top on this little bunker knob, and he's just going to pitch up. And you may have noticed there that disc kind of fell out of the air. There is severe winds today, very gusty, and keep an eye on the guys' clothes and the trees in the background to get an idea of what's happening there.
Yeah, and so far, Chris and Casey want absolutely no part of this run. You can't, as always, Cody sort of gives it a half go, which you're risking the disc kind of curling around back there and rolling out of bounds, but I'm going to guess he stayed safe from the way the disc was moving. Looks like Adam might have went out of bounds on his tee shot from where he is.
Yeah, I do believe he went out of bounds. We'll check on the scorecard there at the end, but he as well...
No part of it.
Putting it as close as possible. It's a smart play today.
Yeah, on a good day, there's almost always some kind of swirling wind on holes 7, 8, and 9 here at Deer Lakes. And on a windy day, it really makes for some interesting conditions. Usually here it's a left to right wind, and from Adam and Casey's shots, you could see the discs turned over and drifted to the right, getting picked up by that crosswind. So they're just going to tap in mostly 3s. Adam's going to tap in his 4, and get the first hole out of the way, kind of get a sense for how things are feeling. Still probably warming up after walking to the tee, and now on to hole 9.
We were wrong about Adam. He did part of that. He didn't go out of bounds.
Oh, wow. So this just checked up. So hole 9, one of the signature holes. There's several at Deer Lakes, but arguably one of the signature. Par 5, almost 900 feet. The pin, from what I understand, is pushed back in the farthest and longest position.
Yeah, and Cody got his a little turned over there, went a little straighter than he wants. You kind of want to hook up to the left and get into the open field, but he's going to be all right with that.
Yeah, this tee shot is tricky, especially when the wind is up, because once you get out of the tunnel, the wind is pushing usually pretty hard left to right. So I couldn't see where Adam's disc, it looks like you were pointing that it turned over as well.
It turned over. I missed where it came back, but it is over to the right as well on the wood line. Whereas we see Chris's flipped over and went to the left with his forehand.
Wow.
Got a nice little cut roll, but, everybody's dealing with the wind that they can't feel from this protected tee pad.
Yeah, very protected and much further back even than the white tees.
Casey, though, he hits the line. Send it out to those trees as close as you can get, and puts it right where you want to be.
Yeah, that's excellent. Looks like he had a chance to read off the guys, and he threw something stable way up in the air. Chris again, that wind just sort of looks like it picked up and turned it over. And I heard something that the van there, Cody's van, got stuck, so it was considered part of the play
it is
for the
true.
day, part of the course.
Yeah, and for some reason everybody decided they wanted to see how close they could get to the van to give Cody a little heart attack, but
yeah, Casey
nobody
said,
hit the van.
Casey said, "I'll get closer. I'll sling it right over the top."
But we're clearly seeing the wind giving the guys a little extra turnover on their disc. Cody goes for the roller play, which is really brave, and it pays off. He gets right to the edge of the tunnel at the top of the hill there.
Yeah, those trees at the corner, you really have to make sure you're going to get your shot around it, because if you end up behind them, it's a big clump of about a dozen trees and then just jail after that. And Woodward's almost flirting with that pavilion, which does play out of bounds. So now with Chris behind the pavilion, it looks like he's lining up a hyzer over top to access the green kind of from the back side.
Yeah, you see that split rail fence down there. The basket is about 10 feet below that. These guys are up like on a top landing area, whereas Cody's shot will let him go down the path.
Right.
So they're all going to try to get through this little gauntlet of trees here. And Adam, as you can see, the wind holds it really, really nice and straight, and he gets almost the entire way to the split rail before it clips a tiny branch.
Yeah, there's so many trees to fight through. I mean, you're almost better off, especially this time of year. There's a lot more room up high to try to sneak through rather than try to fight the wider trees down low.
And Casey has a great line here, and it just hits the absolute last tree.
I mean, absolute last tree on the green. He'll still have a putt from down there. He should be somewhere on the green because, like you said, it's 10 feet down the fence and then probably about 60 feet straight out from the fence down to the green. So if he's on there, he'll have a putt. That was a nice shot of the basket.
Yeah,
way the heck down there.
Cody had a nice shot. We'll see here. This is where Adam landed. He's still up on the top deck, and he's going to just kind of try to float one down there, but with the wind gusting up the hill the way it is, he's got to be real touchy with it.
You know,
And it's a pretty good run. That was a good tree. He could have gone long.
That's really good. I was surprised to see. It looks like he was lining up. He loves those D rattlers.
And we see Chris is there, caught a tree, and it just exposed the flight plate and blew it backwards almost.
And that's not too often that you see the wind pushing so hard that even the green is affected down here, so it really must be gusting.
And Cody takes the low line. Unfortunately, just a tip up, and he gets an extra 20 feet of roll in the wrong direction. It did hit that tree. It didn't go down in the bushes, but this is where Chris ended up pushed back from the tree he hit, and he's going the safe route.
That's really smart. Even that looked like it wanted to kind of nose up and fly over the hill. So that was a really smart play.
Casey, with no fear, unfortunately, he did get over the side of that hill a little bit. He's going to have to come back up.
Yeah, last time that I played this, I had that happen. It's not fun. Oh. Did that tree move? His putt looked like it was right on line, and then the tree just like jerked in for the last second to knock him out of the way.
This is Adam's upshot. He also got down the hill a bit.
Wow. So if he didn't catch that tree, that rattler, because it's almost the depth of a catch disc.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just super glidey, super understable. He's lucky he didn't float any further. And Casey also not able to get the disc up in the air enough to make that comebacker.
Yeah, Adam's shot unfortunately got a roll that put him down there. That tree stopped, but it got up on edge and
got Shout out to Adam Woodward's Gators. It's very exciting. As a fellow Gator wearer, it's exciting to see somebody else really priding not having muddy bottoms on your pants.
Well,
I mean, you can't really say enough about having clean pant bottoms, especially 2 rounds in a day. You don't want to have soggy legs and socks going throughout the entire course.
It is funny that you say that. Maybe a bit of foreshadowing for our future holes, and I'll be sure to point that out when we get there. But we see the guys tap out here. Everybody actually took a 6 here, and that was pretty common for the day, to be honest.
That's rough. So, and now no end to the punishment, because now we have hole 10, which for my money is one of the hardest tee shots from the blue tees on this course. You're going straight up the hill.
And Cody goes for the roller play, which is very popular. Unfortunately, he gets it very flipped over into those bushes on the far right.
Yeah, over towards the red tee pad, it looked like.
Yeah, Gus just kind of got him. He stayed out on the edge, though.
So he was going for a backhand cut roller?
Backhand regular roller, but it decided to cut because of the wind.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I've seen some guys play the flick roller because at least that finishes to the left up the hill. That's a really gutsy play to rip a backhand roller up that hill.
Chris had a nice shot. Got right up to that last tree. Unfortunately, he's right behind it, but he'll be okay there.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a wall, and looks like Casey again kind of getting to read off of everybody. He gets a favorable kick at the end of the flight too.
Yeah.
Just play something stable straight up the hill. Don't with this wind. I mean, Cody has a lot of confidence in his game, and he's a very aggressive player.
Yeah,
but in this wind, why not just get up to the top of the hill and play from there?
Yeah, Cody got a little further out, and Adam is trying the same thing with the standstill. His faded out a little early. He's going to be on the left side. Our basket is in those green trees straight ahead. Everybody kind of going with the standstill from the hill here. Casey starts out with a really nice line, and then it gets stable when the wind gets under it. He's also on the left.
Yeah, a lot of these, usually on this hole, you're looking at a tailwind. And I believe it because Lachendro really torqued that over, and it still fought back. Caught the trees at the end, but he should be able to get up and down for his 4.
Cody, unfortunately, gets a bit of a turnover on his forehand, and it rolls back, but he'll have a lane when he gets there. Adam didn't get so far into the woods, and he's got a nice straight shot that he is begging to sit down, and it goes over the hill. He did stay in bounds, so.
Great. And that's the nice thing about that Rattler. It's glidey, but once it gets down, it's just going to stop because it's so domey. You're not going to get a lot of roll or slide with it.
Yeah, Cody and Casey both kind of going with the low line skip shot, which is a great play. Cody was a little long, Casey a little short. Now Chris, unfortunately, he was not happy with that release, hit that tree, decides to lay up and not chance that out of bounds down the hill because it could so easily lift up.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of discs that not only roll but roll down the road, so then you have to run down the hill and catch your disc.
And Adam with our first big putt of the day, uphill, no fear in the wind. You can see how long he went and how long Cody went off those little skips they had, so there's no joke out there.
Casey staring down a death putt. Maybe just a little tailwind pushing him down. The follow through looked nice. Yep. It's just really difficult, especially looking at the hillside the way it is. There's a lot in your head. Leaving it low isn't such a bad thing there.
Yep, we see some tap outs, and that's it for hole 10. Moving on to hole 11, which is a fun downhill over a gorge shot that leaves you with a basket that is on a very precarious hill. Adam's got the box here. He's going with a forehand line, and it's tailing to the left. It flipped over a little bit, and it hits a tree about halfway into the landing zone. Not too bad of a spot to be in if you can't get the whole way.
Yeah, I like, if you've got a good forehand, this is a good downhill forehand shot. And Lachendro, with his surges, he gets a lot of hyzer on that, really trying to make sure he fades all the way down the hill.
Yeah, and he's also faded over a little more than 1 and 2, and he's on the left side as well. Casey also opting for a forehand, and I felt for him because he had a great release and just inches off the line, hitting that first entrance on the right there. So he's going to be behind a bit of a barrier. Yeah,
if you're going to hit one gap on this hole, you've got to get through that first gap. I mean, you're looking at a very, very difficult par save. I would, especially in these conditions, say bogey at best.
Yeah, Cody gets a little more height on it, and it's heading down and fitting to the right pretty nicely, catches a tree, puts him on the downslope of the hill. Now, when I saw Casey lining this up, I got to give it to him because I've never thought about the high line here, and he just hits one branch, fortunately gets to the other side of the barrier, which probably saved him a stroke from going around, obviously. Chris with a backhand upshot here, just kind of plays it into the hill, and he's about 15 feet above the basket.
That is, it's so windy that his bag gets blown over. That is so gutsy to go over the top.
Mm-hmm. His forehand hits the last tree on this side of the creek, and unfortunately he didn't get a great lie where that ended up.
Adam, and you can run this downhill backstop, but that's what you'll get rolling probably right under that footbridge down there.
Exactly. And this is, when you mentioned his dry feet, this will be the end of those for his round.
Oh, no.
Unfortunately. Cody's about level with the basket, which is a nice place to be here. Gets a nice stick into the hill. That's all you can ask for.
Yeah, that's pretty excellent. So Casey, he's got to look at it here.
He's on the close side of the gap, and not a bad run.
And there's that roll again.
A little bit of wind, a little bit of roll.
Into the ditch.
So you can see how this short par 3 can quickly turn into a par 4.
Absolutely. It's a tight gap right off the tee. There's a very slim line to hit. It's a fair line, but you've really got to hit it. And with the wind swirling, and this putt from down here is no joke.
And you can see Adam got about 1.5 feet taller as he stepped out there because he was down to his ankles in mud and creek.
Oh, my goodness.
Casey gets a little tickle on the left side, and it sits there. He'll be able to tap out. Here we see Chris above the basket, which gives you a death putt in a completely different sense of the word.
Yeah, so he's smartly going to a knee to try to change the angle a little bit. And that's a great stick.
Yep. Just needed the confident stroke there, and then he tries not to fall down the hill or knock me in.
Yeah, we don't need any disc golf related injuries, especially when it comes to just walking to our shots.
Yeah, and you can kind of get a sense of actually how steep this hill is here because Cody is just trying to stand flat.
Yeah, and you can see his feet are sliding because it's muddy. The camera never does it justice. And there he goes, just skidding down the hill. Luckily, he was able to skid out and save himself. And he just switched to Prodigy this year. I was kind of surprised because the guys when they're sponsored always really push hard. So to see him change, I mean, I hope it's working out for him.
Yeah,
it's just an interesting switch.
He really seems to be loving the Prodigy discs. Adam, who is our Disc Golf Examiner sponsored player for today, he's putting with those R Pro Wood interval putters from back in the day.
Yeah, wood blend. Yeti Wood Aviators, I'm pretty sure. So
yeah,
hole 12. It's another out the gap shot into an open field, 333 feet, but it's uphill. So it probably plays closer to 380, 400.
Chris gets turned over and you'll see it pop on the left side of your video there. That's a very popular miss, is to kind of be left over there.
Yeah, and depending where he's at, he may or may not have a line. So Cody really airing one out here, and that looks like it's just sort of turning over into the ground. He kind of throws his hands up like, well, maybe he's thinking, well, at least I'm in the open. I would take that as a miss.
Exactly. He's dead center. It just got pushed down by the wind a little bit.
Ooh.
Yeah, we get an early branch with a skip and then calling for a miss, but he doesn't get it. He's before the corner there, which will make it a difficult upshot.
Yeah, it looks like, I mean, you're looking at the tee shot. There's a tree right in the middle of your line, and it looks like he was just, he routed his shot a little bit maybe. Casey maybe played something a little flippy. He's kind of laughing like, well.
Same thing as Cody. He and Cody both got a little turned over and the wind pushed it down. We can see Adam's upshot here. He's got a fair distance, puts a really good move on it, and he's hoping for a skip, and he gets a skip. And unfortunately,
wow,
he does get a bit of a roll down that hill. We'll see when we get up there.
Yeah, he put a lot of juice on that to throw it straight. I thought he threw it low enough to have it skid up, and maybe Chris is bouncing as well.
Very similar. As soon as these discs get off the ground, the wind is getting right under them.
And between the wind and then that patch where the basket is very rocky. I mean, you got some grass and you got some soil here. Casey looks like he's going the same way. You've got some grass and it's softer out in the fairway, but once you get to that edge, you start to hit like the eroded area, and it gets very rocky. Cody controlling the angle and the speed nicely, gets his to settle up, and Casey's looking at straight uphill through several trees to try to save a putt here. Just a little bit am side. Looks like he was trying to reach around a tree too.
Nice putt. Woodward about 20 feet out, puts one in confidently.
Well, he got a lucky settle there with the tree at least.
Yeah.
Chris is usually pretty automatic from any distance, but from that distance especially. I find his stroke interesting because he looks down, looks up for a second, and immediately just wings the disc at the basket, and it works for him. It's a little bit different style than what you see from a lot of pros.
Yeah.
All right, hole 13. So we get a little bit of a break, and now we're back into the woods. 417 feet, You play up a hill, and then down a hill, and then up another hill. Ooh, and we've got the catch angle. Nice work.
Yeah, I decided to run up the hill to hopefully get the finish of the shots because it is kind of a blind shot from the tee. Chris coming right up at me, hits a tree and kind of gets to the bottom of the hill. Ideally, you want to get to where I'm standing up at the top of the hill. Cody warned me he's coming right at me, so we're going to watch for that. And he makes good on his promise. He's coming right at me.
That is a crush.
Yeah, unfortunately, hits the last tree at the top of the hill. But from where he is, I prefer to be there to get across the gap over to the tee or to the pin anyways.
Yeah, that right side is a little more open instead of...
Not where Adam ended up, unfortunately. He's down to the right of the red tee.
And it looks like he's short of the OB area in the creek, but
Yes.
that is almost no man's land. And Casey's kind of going that way too, but gets smacked down right after the white tee, so at least he'll have a straight line up the hill. Nice smooth pull right over your head.
Yeah, great placement shot. So he's on the downslope, and you can see those logs laying out there in the center of your screen. That's where our pin placement is.
Oh boy, so Adam really is trying to make something happen here. Looks like he's going Anheuser up the hill.
I lost it a bit there.
Oh, but he came down
Right.
looking at the green, so that's not a bad spot to be at all. If you can make it that far or end up on the right side where Cody's drive landed, Chris finally makes it up the hill. That's a tricky approach. That's why I was saying I'd rather be, like you said, where Cody is, because with this angle, it kind of plays through the ravine and there's less trees in your way, but he hits the infamous wall and takes a roll back into the ditch.
Yeah, that happens fairly often. Chris was complaining. He was like, well, that's one way to avoid the wall is to throw it into the hill in front of it. So he got what he wanted there.
Yeah, pretty dry sense of humor usually. That's all you can do sometimes is just laugh.
Adam hits the last tree prior to the hill, or to the wall as well, and he's right on the other side of it. Here we see Casey with a low line forehand skip shot. He's about 20 out, but he's going to be looking down the hill at a death putt.
Jeez.
Cody almost put that in there. It's right behind that piece of log that's blocking the basket.
That's a great run. There's no way. If I can't see from down there, I'm a good bit taller than Cody. There's no way he could see the basket. He had to just pick his tree and throw a shot. That's an incredible run from back there. And Woodward's probably about 40 or more feet.
Yeah, I would say he's right outside the circle, or fairly outside the circle there.
Right.
And just floats it
Wow.
right in for his second big putt of the day.
That was a great stroke. I mean, you have to just stick it straight in because if your disc gets up and rolls, you're going down the hill where Chris was just putting from.
Yeah, and he was calling for that to sit, so he got it.
Mm-hmm.
Casey, not so much of a death putt, but it's still in your mind because any metal here is going to give you that chance. But no chance when you put it in the basket.
Nice and low, really control any kind of action off the chains. These Mach X baskets are pretty unforgiving. You got to go center, low if possible. Cody 2, making he sticks it on the pole. No spit outs, nothing weird happening. And he putts hard. If you putt hard, these baskets are your friend.
Yeah. Chris gets his tap in and take a look at the score real quick. Our overall scores, we got a 2, 3, 4, 5. And pretty close considering the conditions that we have out here today. Here is the long par 5, hole 14. I am also in the catch cam on this one.
I like these angles.
Coming right down, Cody hits an early tree, and you can see him settle there, kind of by the white tee.
Very, very early and pinched off to the left side there. Because really, you want to get something not turned over like that, but you want it straight.
Woodward
Whoa.
somehow gets it to roll up a steep hill and onto the safe side of the ravine there.
I want to throw that disc. Whatever disc that is that rolls uphill, that's the one that I want.
Casey gets his turned over, and it tombstones right behind the tree there. You can't really see it, but he cleared the first ravine, which is really important.
And it tombstone because it is extremely muddy in that section where he landed. And Chris looks like he hits his line. Gets a nice flipping hyzer.
He really does. And he comes down most of the way down the right fairway. There's sort of a left fairway and a right fairway looking down to the next hillside. And, he definitely had the best shot of the group there.
And Cody's playing on a tight left side, but he gets his to turn over and finish.
Yeah, he's down there on the right fairway. Not as far down as Chris, but is that a great recovery shot.
And this hole is a par 5, but it is a couple hundred feet shorter than hole 9.
Casey's calling for all the luck here, and he gets it. He's now on that left-hand fairway and fairly far down. And Woodward also gets some real luck and gets the whole way down to the bottom of the hill. He would have liked to clear it, but,
That's excellent.
In the ravine is better than on this side of it.
Was that a Troy Wagner sightings? Just standing there in the fairway?
That was. He was out there shadowing, giving me camera advice, some disc golf training tips, trying to sell me some discs.
Yeah, I've heard he's kind of had the rolling party wagon of collectible discs, and Cody too. I don't know if it's just me, but these guys are giving me some good evidence that these trees are thinner somehow, because I've thrown a lot of escape hyzers, kind of like these guys have, and they always seem to find their way through.
Yeah,
this hole compared to the rest of them.
Cody's comment on his last shot was, "Yeah, suck it," because he beat that one gap he needed to, and boy did he. Here's Adam's second ankle deep mud romp, but he's far up the fairway, and he's gonna need to get up and to the right on this shot. The pin is in the top right-hand corner of your screen, back in a little cove.
Right, so he's going to try to throw something that holds but doesn't turn over up the hill and just penetrates straight back, and that's still 200 feet or so. And it looks like it's holding hyzering at the end?
Yeah, it hit a tree in hyzer. He's on the left side of the green. He's got a putt.
And finally, we can see the basket. So this is another hole where you're playing through 2 ravines, about 650 feet. Cody just needs to throw a touchy approach into this green, because the basket does slope downhill and behind the basket.
Yeah, but he full forces it right up in there. He said, get it in there and get it down, and he's going to be all right with that.
Wow.
We see where Chris's shot tailed off to. It is really thick, and he gets right to the edge, but not out.
Yeah, this is the only time of year where you can even really play a shot out of there. That grows into full bumble mode in the summer, and you're just trying to pitch out laterally.
Yep.
Casey fades down the hill a little bit, but he might have a look looking back. Another
It's
uphill
tough.
putt.
Yeah, he's got the only line of trees in the way kind of there. And we see Chris here he did bust out a little bit onto the fairway, my mistake, and almost puts it in off the tree.
Wow. So we got Adam about 3 or 4 feet downhill, maybe 30 feet.
Inches.
Looks like he caught a little bit of metal.
I'm not sure if he did or if the wind just picked it up a little bit, but he's a little bit longer than he wants to be to come back.
Yeah. Casey again looking uphill. Trees.
Yeah, just caught that last tree. The wind was getting a little floppy on everybody's putts today.
Yeah, and right now we're heading back towards one of the ponds that make up the Deer Lake Parks complex, and the wind funnels down pretty hard, so I bet they're getting some extra wind action from them.
Yeah, I'd like to say that any of the normal rules applied, but I will tell you that on the same hole, one guy would have a left-hand wind, one guy would have a right-hand wind.
Yeah.
It was just swirling like crazy, and
that's,
you can see Adam had some trees to go through there. He just left it an inch short.
And that's pretty common with Deer Lakes in general, like that whole 7, 8, 9 stretch. You can have a right to left wind coming down the hill on 7, but then throwing your disc in the same direction on 9, you'll have a left to right. Yeah. Somehow the wind goes 2 different directions. Cody giving a little fist pump.
Fist pump. They're glad to get off this hole over par bogey.
And if he's fist pumping for a par, that means the course is playing hard, because he is very competitive, very, very hard on himself, wants to always be the best.
And his remark right there was, my disc is going out of bounds, because if you guys notice the waves on that little pond down there,
goodness.
And the trees in the background, it is kicking up like mad right now.
Folks, that water is not that deep to have waves on it. The wind is whipping.
And Cody just gets it to turn over perfectly, fly straight into the safe bank on the far side, and despite his predictions, he threw the perfect shot.
So we're looking at a mostly left to right wind with some swirl. I'll be really interested to see how Chris controls this angle.
And he gets it flipped over early into the woods, makes it through, and is hoping to lay up short. Unfortunately, you're going to see a tiny splash just short of the drop zone there, unfortunately. So he took the local route and almost made it out.
So Adam throwing something flat and stable. Catches a tree. Is he going to have enough to float across, though?
Still floating. Still floating.
Safe.
It is down there, a bit to the right, but you're fine being there.
Yeah, he's only about 15 feet right of Cody. That's very, very fortunate. Casey trying to just hyzer flip something down there, and that is taking a ride, but
a little more hyzer flip than he asked for, but also over there to the right, and he's safe.
Not a bad miss.
Yeah, here's the drop zone, sort of like a little upshot across the water. Nice safe play from Chris.
Safe, but any amount of distance behind that basket looking at the water is more than you'd like, and that is an excellent, nice floaty putt straight into the pro side of the chains. Run it in, Woodward. You earned that one.
Must be those wood discs. They are just floating so nice for him today. It's like the wind is very favorable for his putts.
No.
Yeah, Casey goes no fear, but he stayed in. He is on the rock there. There were no lines painted for this, so it was surrounded by water, and he was good.
I'm more of a fan of that, honestly. I mean, this hole's hard enough without pushing the line further up the hill. Cody, I mean, that's a good run, but at least it dropped and stuck, and he's not rolling down where Casey is.
And you can see his meter in is still like sort of in the lake. So he's got an uphill shot. The wind is coming kind of down that corridor, but puts it right in the right spot.
It's a great stick.
Yeah, up little nose up angle.
A good mark.
Sat right in there. Yeah, so Chris, great upshot, and always automatic from here. Mm-hmm. But with a lake behind you, you never know what's gonna happen.
You really don't. And with the wind pushing the way it is.
Yeah. So good hole, only one in the lake.
Well, we finally see a birdie though, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
Cody and Adam tied at +3. Again, shows you how hard the course is playing, because these guys can score when the conditions are good. So now we're to hole 16. Par 4, you want to make it out the gap and not kick off one of those trees. The left kick in this case is worse. At least if you kick to the right, it's pretty open because there's the fairway / old like logging road or whatever it was, utility road before it was the course.
Yeah, Cody taking the right gap here, which is the gap I like with something real stable so that it gets up there and kind of rides the hill.
Perfect.
Shoots right out onto the road. A lot of folks overlook that right-hand gap for some reason because it's so tempting to want to go up the middle, but these guys reading off each other. Casey with a bit lower of a line gets a skip.
But at least you're in the fairway looking at the basket in that case. I've always tried to play up the center gap, but watching these guys do that play around the outside, I
take a note from Chris here with the forehand flick roller, which is also a nice shot. He gets it to curl right around. Probably would have liked to get a little further out before it curled, but hey, if you're out of the gap, you're in a good spot.
And with his forehand skills, he'll be able to flex something up the hill. He'll have a shot. And Adam manages to get all the way through and halfway up the hill. I don't know what he was looking at over there. There's not lines out of there, folks. There really isn't.
Yeah, incredible upshot. Casey, I think he got torqued over a little bit and unfortunately kicked off to the left, which is the left side is hard the whole way up on this hole. So he's going to have to sort of hyzer pitch out of there. Chris puts one up there a bit to the left. Got a lucky tree keeping him from going. There's a little path there and put you behind some trees, but he got a good tree kick out to the center.
Yeah, with an uphill run, he'll have a chance to take a shot at it. And Cody trying to play it out wide again, but just sort of gets filtered into that ditch with all of the leaves. Once you're in there with all of the dry leaves, you're just going to sit down. Adam trying to get up and save par, and he's up on the hill where he's looking past the trees straight down at the basket.
That's the line I like to take. I like to go past the basket, high and to the right, because then are no trees in your way, whereas it's really tempting again to want to go up that really nice little corridor there. Right. Unfortunately, Casey got about 60, 70 feet and hit an early tree, going for the skip up shot. Very nicely played.
Yeah, that's well played. I've seen that happen a lot on that side. Very easy. So we got a little run action here. Woo!
Cody again from the River of Leaves. Going at it hard. Just a bit outside.
And that's something you'll see more from the pros who are really confident with their putt, is they'll run all the way at it. So let's see if Adam can make something happen here with a par save.
And again, that's the second time he has missed today where it looked so good and just somehow skidded past the rim and past the chains in that one little 1-inch gap there.
Yeah, and
nails his comeback though.
the comeback was about the same distance as the initial putt.
Right.
I mean, he has to be a little bit frustrated. Like, I could make the first one, why not the second? Cody, no fear with the comebacker. That's what you got to learn, folks. You got to be really confident in your putting, not be afraid to take a run, and still have confidence that you're going to make the comeback to finish the hole. Chris, did he even look at the chain? Did he even look at the basket?
Yeah, for a second, he knew where it was.
He must have had an idea at least.
Yep. Casey taps out.
All right. Moving on. A little bit of a reprieve here again.
Well, you could call it a reprieve. We were commenting on how it's our own little Pittsburgh GBO because we're back out in the open for a field shot into a little sort of tree-protected green area, and everybody just kind of wants to put it towards that big Y tree down the center of the fairway. Reachable by everyone, but trying to second-guess your stability and your line here. Cody gets a little early fade, and he actually got the whole way across the creek.
Wow.
Behind the basket, which is not OB, but...
Tailwind?
I honestly cannot remember, but I would guess that everybody's kind of hyzering out a little bit early, so
Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah, because typically you're playing, well, again, it's swirling usually.
Tailwind here and then headwind on the next hole.
Right, and it does swirl a little bit, but... So
Yep.
Woodward, yeah, it looks like he tried to play something flippy to have it hold up straight, and that just turned over.
Yeah, we got two guys to the right. Cody was to the left.
Casey just opting for the forehand.
Which happens to just hold completely straight the whole
My
way.
goodness.
Yeah.
What is happening?
There's no wind read today.
No. Like you said, it's just so swirly because of all of the different geographical features, the ravines, the ponds, the trees. It's not like GBO where it's just wide open and the wind is just blowing in one direction for the most part. The wind is swirling across all of these features and giving you some really funky action. Yeah, Casey almost made it to the creek bed as well.
Yeah, he got the least favorable lie of everyone here. He's got a nice tunnel, and he gives it every inch of trying to get there. A little bit past.
That's
but
amazing.
A good run. And here we see Cody finally got to his disc.
Oh, no.
He tried to pitch up and caught the tiniest little branch, kicked him into those leaves there. So he's still going to have a tester with some trees in the way as he makes his way back across the creek there.
And I see he's just letting the guys tap in. Might as well. I mean, if you got to take your time to find your footing across the way, let the other players finish and get moving on. He definitely looked at that one. I'm going to keep track. Does Chris look at his putts or not? It's hard to say. So Casey, only 3 practice rounds. I wonder, I mean, he's obviously a professional athlete, but I wonder how much time he actually has to practice and play during hockey season.
Not much at all. That's
guess
what
not
my
much.
first question to him was, are you ready for disc golf season? He's like, oh yeah. I've been playing, I played my 3 rounds since the season ended, and I'm ready to get into it. So yeah, he's a big fan and a natural competitor, and you can tell from his form that he has everything he needs to be, top of his game. As soon as he gets some reps in competition, he's going to be, making waves.
Absolutely. So, hole 18. With a nice swirling wind, we have a road that marks an OB line the entire way down the left side of the fairway, all the way down to the green. You just want to make sure that you are out and open somewhere where you can make your approach. You do not want to hyzer left. That's really the only mistake you can make here, is to end up over the road, because the strokes can really add up if you end up short and if you keep trying to push it. I've seen multiple hyzers out over the road, so Cody looks like he's just going to push him. Flat shot, I mean, at least that doesn't test the road at all, but it looks like he wanted more action out of that.
Yeah, the wind is probably the worst of the round right now, we were seeing, I would have to say, 30, 35 mile an hour gusts. As you can see, Chris's got pulled out of his hand and went so far right in towards those bushes over there. I didn't know you could get there from the tee, but he's in the fairway, and
Wow.
it was just, no matter what you thought was going to happen, 10 feet out of your hand, the wind could change. Adam got a nice rip there. He's up on top of the mound, which will give him a nice view down into the green.
But that view into the green, we'll see, is anything but reassuring because, yeah, we'll get there when we get there. So Casey, again, getting a chance to read off of everybody, releases it a little low. He's going to be hanging out with Cody short there.
Yeah, he and Cody play together a lot. It seems like their shots have, when there was a wind problem, it's gone the same way for both of them today. So at least it's being fair in that sense.
And you're absolutely right. His back is against the branches back there. I've never seen a shot end up there.
And he gets, I believe, a bit further right than he would have liked to here. I didn't necessarily see where it finished. So he's sort of where your second shot would be if you were going down the center. So a good recovery.
All right. Casey, nice smooth standstill. That looks good, but he's fading.
He is, but I'm going to say I believe that it was in bounds.
Wow.
We'll find out when we see the scorecard, but I believe he stayed in bounds. It's a bit of a optical illusion there with the hump of the hill.
Right. It's hard to tell exactly, especially with the skip. Cody really trying to crank and make up for some lost time.
Yeah,
there.
and you see halfway through that flight, it just took like a 45-degree flip as just the lip of it probably got exposed to the wind. Adam had a really interesting shot here. He had to keep it low under the branches or make the hole halfway up, and got right in between them.
Yeah, it's so difficult, especially playing downhill into a headwind, to control that disc angle. The branches are a lot lower than it seems, and they just get lower as you go down because the green slopes down towards the basket. To have something that pushes downhill the whole way and holds is a tall order, and he gets a big kick, but a save.
Kicks.
Yeah. Saving kick at the end there, because he was going to be off in the rough.
Here we see Chris and Casey shot. They were both right next to each other. Chris goes to float a backhand down there and puts it exactly where you want to be.
That's really good angle control. You do not want something that comes up on edge and rolls on that green. Casey also looking to just sort of skid something up. Almost just flips it in. Yeah, so now he's got a nice leaner. Bonus points for a leaner. Yep. Cody ramps his disc off Casey's disc. Everyone's hanging out on the green, and Adam's going to try to, from a knee Anheuser putt? No, he's just going to lay up.
It was a layup. The wind, I mean, you can see those trees in the background. They are not happy. They look very pretty and pristine, but they were feeling it today.
Yeah. I do love this time of year with all the flowering trees at the park. Everything's just starting to bud.
Yeah, where's Big Germ to name all of our flowering trees
goodness.
when we need them?
I mean, the secret is there's only one name, and he uses it the entire round. So we'll call these speckled dogwoods. That nice speckled dogwood there that the players walk beneath to move along to hole one. A nice. Now we're going back up the hill to the front half of the course, and the tee pad is way off to the right. It plays just a giant dog leg uphill. It plays well for a forehand if you can get the angle right, and if you can miss those first few speckled dogwoods in the fairway.
Yeah, Chris found the dogwood. We're going to see another forehand here from Casey, and this is one of his best shots of the day. He low-lined it, got to skip, got to skip, got to skip, got to roll, got to skip, and actually put himself with a nice line to get up the hill there.
And that's all you could ask for. And this is the other play you'll see from the backhand. So you'll see the roller, and it just didn't turn over.
Right.
But it looks like there's that one tree there, and there's the sign, but he might be able to find an angle up the hill.
And Woodward throws the perfect shot. A nice long turnover that gets flat at the end.
Wow.
Puts himself right in the path. He's up there with Casey, about 20 feet further than I've ever been able to get it from the middle tee.
You're right. That's a gutsy. That is a gutsy air shot.
Chris hit an early tree there.
Oh.
And speaking of early trees, Cody, as soon as he hit that, said, "I knew I was going to do that."
Yep.
He was trying to power it up the hill on an Anheuser. Just got out of his hand.
So now he's going for an overhand shot. Oh, flick roller.
Yep, flick roller. And again, it was just a few degrees from getting the perfect turn up the hill, and it came back into the right side of the fairway.
And that right side there's a lot of small stuff and one big tree on the corner. So he's going to have, the last time I was over there, I had to throw a turbo putt. That gives you an idea of all the low stuff that you're contending with on that corner. Casey just turns over, finds a tree. Oh, look, another tree. And Adam almost floats back down the hill, just walking straight across the grade to get to his shot.
Yeah. It's one of those holes that can easily, even with a great tee shot, it has teeth the whole way up the fairway. Everybody's going to just kind of float one around this big tree on the corner here, get up on the dance floor.
I wonder where... Okay, so Cody's on the edge. So at least he has the ability to hyzer around. He's not pinched too far off to the right side.
And hyzer, but yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Little upshot there. Everybody's kind of close now. Should be routine.
And I like taking the time to really line the putt up, even though you're right there. And Chris just always putts like that, so he's doing his routine too. I'm a huge fan of sticking to the routine no matter how close you are. I've missed my share of short putts. Every pro has a story that a lot of them are on camera now with all the coverage we have. You really have to just be careful and take your time. It's not over till it's over and you get the disc in the basket.
Yep.
Wow. And this is still playing so difficult. 2 pars, 2 bogeys.
And our score at 4, 5, 6, 7.
Nice small straight.
Yeah, we've been kind of following that pattern today. This shot is, again, across a big ravine. Can be an ace run, even from this blue tee. Casey gets it nice and high, but a little too nose up, and it hyzers out to the right. He's in the bushes, but he'll be okay to pitch up from there.
And typically on this hole, there's a tailwind.
Oh, is this going in? And it
Wow.
whacks the last tree right in front of the basket. Almost metal.
I thought I heard a little ting there.
Yeah, no,
wow.
it just squared that tiny little tree up. Chris gets to the right over there with Casey. Nobody got a roll down the hill, so that's good.
Cody, touching off that little bit of a vine or something, gets turned over.
Exactly. Woodward was commenting that he tried for an hour earlier in the week to get that vine down, but it is just stuck up there right in the Anheuser line.
Oh, no. Because you really do, especially with the wind, you need to play it out super far to the left to get it to drift in and penetrate to the green. And now we've got these very technical upshots through a lot of vines and a lot of small branches. Both Casey and Cody make it look really good.
Yeah, we both thought they were going in there.
Good run.
Chris gets it even closer. They're zoning in on it.
Don't roll. Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Top link.
Wow. Nothing is easy today. I mean, just look at the scores. If you've ever played Deer Lakes, you know it's hard on a good day, and between the mud and this just really wickedly swirling wind.
Yeah, I haven't even mentioned that you can't tell, but the footing on a lot of these holes, these guys are throwing standstills and taking a minute, well, not a minute, 30 seconds or less, to make sure that their footing is good because power is at a premium out here.
So this is the made famous by Paul Macbeth, hole 3 at Deer Lakes. It is just a straight shot, 800 plus feet. And
down a hill, then back up
the hill. And that's what's so difficult about this hole is you really want something to push straight the entire way and finish straight into the ground. And it's really difficult to throw a shot that stays on the line the whole way.
Woodward gets his turned over to the right, but a lucky tree puts him back out in the center of the fairway.
Favorable kick. You just don't want to be off the fairway here, and there's only about 20 feet wide.
And watch that this disc doesn't start flipping until 300 feet down the fairway.
Wow.
He gets a lucky tree, but we were just all waiting for it to flip out of his hand, and it never did.
He's got some crazy angle control. I know he only throws a few discs, a few molds, and he just really is a master of angles. If you want to watch someone work forehand angles, Cody is okay there. It's going to be really tough footing, and you can see the ground is wet there where Adam was standing.
And Adam's shot here tailed off to the right of that trench you see. He got really good distance, though, from a standstill. He'd like it to be center, but he's happy with that.
Yeah, you see Cody stops and resets, probably because his feet were sticking in the ground.
And he still kind of slipped here, which, threw his shoulder angle off a little bit, and he gets down to left. That's a common spot for a second shot to be, honestly. Chris just gets it real nice and flat, stops it on the little mound.
Sticks it, yeah. He'll have an approach to hyzer up. Onto the hillside there, you can see everyone walking up the hill. That's where the basket's located. Really tight up on the left side, very precariously perched. Casey coming back out to the fairway. Cody trying to mash a hyzer.
Yeah.
But
boom, as he
wow.
says.
Yeah, he got that to stick. That was incredible. I've seen a lot of shots hit that hillside and roll down.
Chris, unfortunately, did not get the turn he wanted, and he is in the bumble over there. You're going to see, though, that luckily he found about the only line out of there.
Yeah, I was over there last time I played there, and there is a line looking straight up the hill.
This shot from Woodward hit all the gaps. It's probably 20 feet short of the basket, but that hill is hard to tell on camera, but it is very steep, and he got it all the way up and through the gap. Casey also going up, trying to skip it through those trees, but he'll be good there. Yeah.
Those are two really amazing approaches. Cody also just spiking something up, getting it to stick on the hillside. Really good angle control from all of these pros.
And here we see Chris. I'm standing up by the basket, and he's coming up. Hits the gap he has, and that's what you want to do.
Beautiful. Super uphill.
He really wanted it. He was giving it everything to try to pull that one in. Woodward with another great putt. You can tell that's where the strokes are coming from today.
Right. He's got it figured out. I mean, you can see it's just a nice, clean, smooth release. And he's getting the opportunities, too. I mean, some of these guys are only, laying up from so close that they're having tap-ins, but he's, getting up in fewer strokes and having a chance to make these putts.
Right.
So he's working it the whole way from the tee box up to the basket.
Yeah, and we have Adam in the lead. He's got 2 strokes over Cody right now, followed by Chris and Casey. And hole 4 is fun. You've got a series of trees directly down the center. You can go to the left, you can go to the right, but you got to get out of these woods. Adam throws it way straighter than he thought it was going to be, but it's perfect.
Little baby fade at the end. He'll have a putt. I mean, that's all you want, because literally those trees are smack almost directly in the middle of the tee box.
Yeah, Casey gets skinny, calling for it to get up.
Yeah.
But there was some definite wind playing outside of this tunnel that you could not feel back in the little protected tee box. Chris throwing the flex forehand, and I don't know if I've ever seen it thrown better, because he's 10 feet out there.
Yeah, he looks pin high. I mean, he tested that last tree in that line of 4 there and got it to work over the bogey bush out in the fairway. Ooh, let's see if this can get up.
Yeah, again, just kind of got pushed down. They're not getting the glide.
And you said it exactly right. This is another shot where it opens up and
Casey.
Oh, just a little deep.
So close. We were waiting for a big toss in all day, and we thought we had it there.
Yeah, good run from Cody, but that's still really far out.
Got pushed down.
Getting another chance at a putt here. Oh, out of his hand, you could tell smacking the ground in frustration. Just fluffed it a little bit.
Yeah, so maybe he's 15, not 10. I'm not good with numbers.
But
great putt.
Either way, he was pin high, and that's excellent from that far back.
Casey cleaning up. We were talking here, and I said Disc Golf Examiner needs to get Casey out in full pads. I want to see how far he can throw. We were discussing whether there would be any torque available.
I bet he could throw forehand a lot further than backhand with the pads on. So hole 5, I can't even imagine how this is playing with this wind, because you have the tee pads pushed pretty far back, so you have a very tight vertical line going down. Headwind coming up the hill.
It was all around, very swirly here, again, and Chris got pushed off his line, hit a tree about halfway down. Adam was going right at the basket and just a few feet short. Like that's the line if you're gonna throw a nice soft backhand shot.
That was excellent. Great angle control, something stable enough that it wasn't just gonna push straight down the hill. Casey's looks a little high.
Yeah, and it would. We
And a
were
little
begging
straight.
for it to come back and caught a lucky tree, puts
Wow.
him right down in the circle.
Yeah, that's a
Maybe
great
just
kick.
outside the circle.
That's a great kick because that was cruising down to the next tee pads.
Yeah, it missed everything and caught all the wind.
That's a nice hyzer angle from Cody.
Mm.
Just gets treed, but I mean he's looking at the basket with
How
his
c-
aggressive style.
How can you not get treed on a hole like this?
Yeah,
right?
there's a lot of trees, and then even if you hit your line and hit the hillside, it's very fast.
Chris sawed his off there. He was not happy with his release. Doesn't throw a lot of backhands, so that's what we're going to blame it on.
Throw more backhands, Chris. Come on.
He was throwing a lot today.
I
We were
know. I've
discussing
noticed.
it.
Yeah, his last approach on hole 3 looked really good, but it's hard going downhill to match the angle and the speed
Yeah.
the way you
So
want.
Casey looks like he's circle's edge, maybe a little outside, downhill. Gets it just a bit high. Luckily that tree's there because that can go far away
Yeah,
on edge there.
very lucky. Great stick.
Yeah, no problem coming back.
Good putt. After missing that last one low, I knew that was either going to go in or go high. There's no way he's going to miss that twice. Oh, jeez.
So heartbreaking that you get off to the left side or the right side at all on these Mach X's, and they are unforgiving.
It absolutely is. Like, it needs to be like Cody's putt. Hard, mostly center. Cracking a cold one for the boys. That was so loud.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was in celebration of Cody's.
Yeah, it's just sparkling water, folks. This is a PG broadcast. So hole 4, or not hole 4, par 4, hole 6, 471 feet. The tee pad again is pushed downhill really far back. I'm loving these catch cam angles. This is definitely the way to do it for single cam footage.
Yeah, you'd like to think so. Until you get almost buzzed by one, but caught a lucky tree, landed right in front of me.
Just short of the OB, so there is like a little OB kind of island patch off to the side there. Cody looks like he released a little early. Kick into the fairway, though. Really, they're trying to play over your head. There's a line of trees that they're trying to hyzer around to the right to get a shot into the green. And Casey just turns his over. Wind again, probably.
Looked really good out of his hand, and then got a gust. Caught a tree that kept him from going too far out of bounds. And I believe I missed most of Woodward's initial drive, but it hit an early tree.
Oh, my God.
This one hit a late
Oh,
tree
no.
and got just about the worst kick you can get on this hole.
That was brutal.
Here's Casey from center fairway. He's got a nice look up there. Gets it a little higher, and he wants just needed to beat that tree.
Very last, one of the last. I swear every time I play this hole, there's new trees. And they're full grown. They're not new trees, but I feel like I see new ones every time out there because there's so many large full grown trees the whole way. Just a couple different sets of walls as you move your way down the fairway. Cody caught like the second to last set of walled trees. Adam, again, finding a line where there is no line, people, and gets a curl up the hill, pin high. I mean, he's about 30 feet away, but looking at the basket at least.
From where he was, it took us a while to get back to his disc, but he put it up there. Chris parks his.
Yeah, that was a great shot. Uphill, you can take a run at this. Cody just looks like left that wide and punished with a kick further away from the pin than you'd like to be.
This was about the muddiest hole on the day.
Really? Wow.
There was no footing anywhere once you got around the bend, and we were struggling to get up to the basket, to be honest. And Woodward, again, the soft touch, it's like he's just dropping it in. Like, I guess that's that's what they say, just drop it in the basket.
Right.
And he's doing it.
Or I think it's a Zach Melton said, put the pizza in the oven.
Put the pizza in the oven.
Yeah. Yeah, just a little wrist flick just to get the disc spinning. And on these windy days, I mean, you want a lot of spin. You want something that's going to cut through.
Yeah.
And all of these guys, I think, are mostly spin putters. You don't have anybody who's super push putt. So, I mean, they're suited for it. And
Par, birdie, par. That is going to be one of the better cards of the day on that hole.
yeah, absolutely. And now we're down to our last hole already. Par 3, just rip it down the hillside.
And
oh, no.
so Chris was joking about how he doesn't throw a lot of backhands, and it's still in the air. It's still in the air. And
Oh, my goodness.
it is behind the white tee for hole 8. So he's gonna have an upshot from there. Yeah.
So we're seeing a hard pushing right to left. Woodward hangs that out so far to the right, waiting for it to push,
And then it decides to push.
Well, there it goes. Yeah. I mean, he's still,
50 out.
Yeah, he was
60.
50 or 60 at least. And it looks like he was definitely trying to play that angle. Let's see if Cody can correct off it. I mean, he might get like a full cut roll to the basket.
It did turn into a bit of a cut roll.
Wow.
Yeah, he didn't gain much distance off it, but the position's fine. Casey, he's getting the benefit of the sort of a wind read and puts it on just the right angle, and it's staying flat, and then dumps real hard, and we were all calling for it. A little short, but man.
But that's great. Edge of the circle, maybe 5-10 feet outside. With these conditions,
and here we see Chris. He's going for a forehand roller here, and he really does just about as good as you can from past the fairway of the next hole.
That is incredible. To even give yourself a putt from that angle.
Yeah.
I've never even seen anybody over there, so I don't know what you would do.
I
really
got
good
close
creativity.
once.
Woo! Cody, too, skipping one by the basket. We're seeing all sorts of interesting things out here.
Yeah, they were kind of going for it here at the end of the round. Adam goes for a layup.
Yeah.
He may have been running it and the wind pushed it down, but we're going to say it's a layup.
He's had a good round.
Yeah.
There's no point on the last hole to try something ridiculous and get punished because the basket does slope down the hill there. Chris, that's a great layup to save a 4 from there.
Here we see Casey with the best drive. He's eyeing it up. He wanted it, but it's got a little nose up.
Yeah, it's a little high for this wind condition. You really got to just aim it directly on the line into the chains that you want. You can't float it.
And just to point out, this is Casey's second tournament ever.
Oh, that's right.
So
he just played the one at Moraine last year.
Right. He is thrown so good and has really jumped into the competitive spirit and into the scene here. We love having him, and fun guy to be around.
Yeah, you can tell. I'll agree. His backhand form is super smooth, slow and smooth. Keeps his spine aligned straight up and down, and just pulls through nice and straight. He absolutely could, be as good as he wants to be for as much time as he can or wants to put into it.
See everybody just tapping out here to finish our round, and that's it from round 1 at the Steel City Classic here at Deer Lakes in Tarentum, PA, outside of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, final scores. We got Adam, I think, in the lead or tied for the lead overall with +2. I knew he was towards the top. Cody and Chris tied at +5. Casey at +8. So everybody really still in the mix with this wind and these conditions. Anything could happen.
Yeah, there were some definite good rounds on some other cards as well. I don't know if we're going to see any of these guys again for the next round, but that's going to be coming out here in a day or two, and we're going to wrap it up. Thanks again from Bryan Bowman here, Disc Golf Examiner, and Vince Mach. Tune in to Disc Golf Examiner, visit our website, join and subscribe, smash that like button, and don't forget to keep banging those chains.
And buy some Black Market beef jerky.